Well, this guy has a very interesting theory to what's happening with these LA fires.
I don't know how it started. We don't know how it started. There, you know,
I think
winds.
it's all the gay people in LA.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
We got the.
And hey, he might not be that far off, as the discussion right now has become extremely political, as a lot of people, including even Elon Musk, just came out and told you that this could have been prevented. As Joe Rogan has warned about this, same as Donald Trump, who on this show literally said this is a major issue that needs to be addressed 3 months ago. And it was only made that much worse by government. And now we're dealing with an absolutely devastated California state, as some of the most expensive waterfront properties on the face of this earth have just largely disappeared. As the video footage of the damage that has been done here is astronomical. It is shocking. It is something that, of course, should make people humbled to understand just how temporary life and the things in it are, as of course people's multi-million-dollar homes were left in smoldering ruins in just a matter of moments, as of course the fire has spread incredibly quick. And these types of LA fires are what a lot of people are now describing as the most destructive in LA history, as Elon Musk has recently come out and has said that we could have saved a lot of the people, a lot of the property, and prevented this tragedy from happening. But we didn't, because of big government. And by looking into this particular story, he does make a very good argument.
Yeah, we really need to have fire breaks, and we need to clear the brush back away from houses, and we need to make sure the reservoirs are full. These are all kind of obvious things, but due to a bunch of environmental rulings, you can't actually do that in California. So they're not allowed to do the fire breaks, and they're not allowed to push the brush back away from houses, because it might hurt some, like red-legged frog or something like that. You know, it's like some sort of creature. Usually a creature you've never heard of that is preventing this from occurring. There's like this fish called the smelt, for example, so we have far more freshwater runoff into the ocean than we should, really, and on the theory that it helps this one little fish that likes a slightly briny freshwater saltwater mix. And if we keep more freshwater, then the smelt fish will not be happy. But there's no actual evidence that the smelt fish is going to be unhappy if we keep a bit more fresh water. In fact, so we should keep more fresh water, keep the reservoirs full, and just have some sensible fire breaks and move the brush away from houses. That's just an example of, like, we've saved a lot of trouble, a lot of tragedy in LA if we'd done that.
Yep, imagine if we didn't have government bureaucrats literally making things up out of thin air, making themselves relevant, and giving themselves an excuse for you to give them your money. As this larger situation is something that Elon Musk has been talking about a lot. I think he is absolutely correct here, as he has also just announced that he is going to be providing free Starlink terminals to all those people affected in the LA area, as one news crew is literally using it to provide us live coverage of the event.
The only reason that you're able to see us right now is because of a Starlink connection that we just got today. That's the only reason we're able to hear and communicate with you guys right now, because there's absolutely no cell service at all in this whole area.
This says in the making of this video, 17,000 acres have been destroyed, ruined, and burnt down in the process of this huge, horrific tragedy that sadly is affecting a lot of people in this very heavily Democratic political area, that Adam Carolla now is going to be arguing in the face of this event is going to have a lot of people changing their minds about who they're going to be voting for in the next kind of election, as it's not just the larger kind of DEI efforts. It's not just the gross negligence. It's not just stopping and preventing actual fire prevention techniques here, but it's also going to be, as Adam Carolla describes it, the permitting process, which is a ridiculous process in my opinion, as some counties and states have absolutely taken full advantage of the taxpayer during these scenarios to have them figuratively jump through hoops just to be able to get permission and a permit that the state's not even liable for when it comes to building and constructing something on their property.
Because here's the deal. Alan Hamill and Suzanne Summers moved because they could not get a permit to rebuild their home of 40 years on the ocean on PCH, right? So here's what's going to happen. Let me just give you guys a little primer of what's going to happen.
And that, of course, is not the only reason why a lot of people will be looking at the Democrats and being like, are you kidding me? You're ridiculous. Why are you torturing me and making my life miserable through this larger kind of permit process? But also, more specifically, let's be honest here. The Democratic leadership does not have a grip on this larger situation. And a lot of people are, I think, rightfully pointing fingers at them for their mismanagement of all of this. As the governor of California wasn't really good at Donald Trump actually bringing up a lot of these very important points, as Donald Trump has been warning Gavin Newsom since 2019 to do something about this very specific situation that was just waiting to unfold. And as it's unfolding now, Gavin Newsom, of course, didn't take any accountability. As the former CIA student Anderson Cooper slightly, very gently, in an extremely softball way, ask a question referencing to some of the Trump criticism that he has received.
I hate to even ask this question, but the president-elect chose to attack you, blame you for this.
One can't even respond to it. I mean, people are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it. I have a lot of thoughts, and I know what I want to say. I won't. I stood next to a president of the United States of America today, and I was proud to be with Joe Biden. And he had the backs of every single person in this community. He didn't play politics, didn't try to.
Yeah, the president of the United States that also announced he had a great-grandson in the middle of this raging presser where he took no questions from the media. As we have to understand that this is the same failed political leadership that literally sent important firefighter equipment to Ukraine just about 6 months ago, as the U.S. ambassador of Ukraine announced that they were excited to take in engine trucks from California. As Donald Trump also now continued on his barrage against Gavin Newsom by saying no water in the fire hydrants, no money in FEMA. This is what Joe Biden is leaving me. Thanks, Joe. As also, let's not forget about how California was focusing on diversifying the fire department, as they were literally more concerned about crass conversations and making the fire department less white and less male than they were about actually preventing a lot of these fires. As of course, this is a fake AI rendering that at Neuro posted on social media, but it's not too far away from the truth here. As of course, this is the current leadership of the LA Fire Department that overwhelmingly made sure that they were from specific racial and preference demographics that of course weren't white straight males that previously dominated the fire department and actually took care of it in an efficient way. There's also video footage now being shared of some individuals within the fire department using handbags to collect water and throw water at fires. Again, I haven't independently verified this. We don't know if this is some kind of like skit or joke here. We hope it is, but with the way that things are going, it probably isn't. As we also have to understand here, the LA Department of Water and Power CEO makes about $750,000 per year, and then she can't even adequately explain why LA ran out of water. This says the people of California also are going to have to deal with a lot of insurance policies and claims that are going to be very difficult to deal with. As of course, Rob Schneider just put out his frustrations on State Farm, as he is mad at them canceling insurance policies for Californians, as there is a community note fact check here that reads that California lawmakers have imposed price controls on insurance companies in the state, which made it impossible for the price coverage to be done accurately as a result of it. And that's why the insurance companies have been forced to leave the state, because the state hasn't allowed them to, of course, operate in a way that doesn't mean a major loss for them. This, as the future president of the United States that is yet not inaugurated, is continuing to go after Gavin Newsom, which in my opinion rightfully deserves all the criticism he could get right now, as clearly it is very obvious that he has prioritized superficial virtues of skin color and orientation over actual capable individuals within the government that could have handled this situation totally differently. Now, can you blame them that there's a fire start? No, even though there's some larger questions here about what really happened. How did these fires start? As you got people on the left saying automatically global warming. I was at a town hall meeting here yesterday against water fluoridation. There's a couple lefties there that are for it for some reason. And those are the same people talking about, oh, look, we didn't give enough money to the government. Therefore, the climate is what it is right now. And therefore, we have these fires. And again, people do have to remember that there are actual arsonists out there, crazy people out there. And I think the craziest of ones are the ones that want more government, more bureaucracy, more diversity hires, more DEI efforts that, of course, don't amount to anything other than a huge waste of money.
For as long as it takes.
Well, it's very sad because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish, which is in other areas, by the way, called a smelt. And for the sake of a smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. It was a terrible thing. And we're going to get that done. It's going to finally be done. I got it done from the federal side, and he didn't want to sign it, but it's not going to happen again like that. There's no reason. Can you imagine? You have farmers that don't have any water in California. They have plenty of water. They don't have a drought. They send it out to the Pacific, and it's crazy. So what's happening in California is a true tragedy. I know those areas very well. I have many friends living in those houses. That is a true tragedy. Nobody ever thought. I mean, virtually Beverly Hills and areas around Beverly Hills are being decimated. The biggest homes, some of the most valuable homes in the world are just destroyed. I don't even know. You know, you talk about a tax base. If those people leave, you're going to lose half your tax base of California. This is a true tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration. They don't have any water. They didn't have water in the fire hydrants. They don't have water. And yet they have, the water comes from, you know where? Up north. And it comes down at levels, they give millions and millions of barrels of gallons of water that they have, and they send it out into the Pacific. For the Pacific, it's like a drop, it's nothing. But for California, it would take care of the whole state. So what's happened is a tragedy, and the governor has not done a good job. With that being said, I got along well with him when he was governor. We worked together very well, and we would work together. I guess it looks like we're going to be the one having to rebuild it. But what happened there, I don't think there's anything that I've ever seen quite like it. And the insurance companies are going to have a big problem.
Yep, as a lot of people are kind of asking themselves, why am I in this particular mess? Why did this happen the way that it did? As clearly, I think a lot of people are left bewildered, confused, and pissed off here. This is also going to change a lot of people with the way that they vote, with the way that they live, as sadly, rebuilding is going to be extremely difficult, especially with the larger kind of permitting, especially with the larger kind of bureaucracy and red tape that, of course, all this government creates here. As even Andrew Huberman just came out and released this video on social media, which, according to him, is now videos of people starting fires.
People are lighting fires now. You can see they lit a fire. These guys, not all the people there, but some of those guys lit that fire, and they're actually, the trees caught fire, and then the palms are catching fire. So civilians are now lighting fires down in the so-called, you know, flats around Santa Monica, Venice.
Yeah, so if random civilians are now starting the fires, maybe it wasn't that we didn't give more money to the government in order to make the weather good, or that's responsible for all of this. Of course, again, we don't know exactly what happened here. We don't know the direct cause. We don't know what actually initially created the first fire that started this whole huge blaze here, but it's fair to say that this is a mess of a situation, an awful situation for a state that is already burdened by huge sums of immigration that they openly let into their own state, by huge deficits, by huge financial problems, and now the major issues that will come with insurance, that will come with government, that will come with trying to rebuild here. Man, that is an absolute mess of a problem that has been created and inflicted by man-made horrors of government. That's my opinion. If you agree with me, share this video with your friends and family members. Don't forget to check out thebestpoliticalshirts.com, where you can get shirts like the one I'm wearing right now that says, trust the science, talking about glyphosate, sugar, fluoride, DDT, asbestos, and all of the other positive chemicals that the government has put a stamp on approval on and allowed people to intake for a very long time. As we have a lot of really cool, awesome shirts out there. I just got some in the mail. There's some other ones that are just too spicy to show you here specifically on this particular platform. YouTube really doesn't like some ideas expressed, but we express them fully on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. You should go there because you could join a plethora of really awesome, cool, incredible people that actually get the products, get the shirts, wear them out to the general public, and do their own lazy form of activism. A lot of people are too afraid to speak up. You don't have to with shirts. You let people know exactly where you stand. You meet like-minded individuals. You meet friends. You meet people that, of course, might not be your friends and maybe you shouldn't be friends with as well because you're not ideologically aligned. But the people that you are ideologically aligned with, you should get with. You should get to know. You should become friends with. You should date them. You should have a life filled with a lot of people around you because those types of lives of having more people around you makes you a stronger, more cohesive, more incredible human being in this kind of life that we all kind of coexist in. Make your new best friend right now by getting a t-shirt on thebestpoliticalshirts.com or a hat. You name it, we got it. All exclusively on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Click the link down in the description below right now. And just, even if you're not interested in buying anything, scroll. Because like the memes and the things we have there, top notch. Check it out. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange.